American hostages in Hamas's custody, hundreds of civilians dead as war in Israel rages on. Thank you for joining us here at 6 o'clock. I'm Tanya O'Rourke.
And I'm Craig McKee. The U.S. State Department giving us an update today. 22 Americans have now been killed in the attacks in Israel. That's up from 14 announced yesterday by President Joe Biden. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken also traveling to Israel right now. With him, Deputy Special Envoy for Hostage Affairs Steve Gillen. His presence on the trip comes as the U.S. is working to secure the release of an unknown number of Americans from Hamas.
A senior Israeli official says talks are underway to allow United States and Palestinian civilians in the Gaza Strip to exit into Egypt ahead of any land invasion. Egypt would need to give final approval. Israelis here in the U.S. are watching things very closely as they're unfolding overseas.
Yeah, they certainly are. And some here in the Cincinnati area are in constant contact with family and friends in Israel, many of whom I am told are staying in bomb shelters most of the time. In fact, I sat down with Nico Black, who was a first sergeant in the Israeli Defense Forces and served as a humanitarian liaison to the Palestinian government between 1999 and 2002. He says Israel's defense system had a cataclysmic failure and believes the calculated nature of the attacks by Hamas suggests outside influence from other countries helping in the planning of it. He adds that while Hamas won the election to be in control in 2006, they don't represent everyone who lives in the Gaza Strip.
These people are not about the Palestinian national movement. They're about a world caliphate, world domination, world Sharia, same way that ISIS was, same way that Al-Qaeda was. They're all from the same root. I have Palestinian friends, to be very, very clear. Actually, my best friend in town is Palestinian. It is very sad for the Palestinian people that their cause is being usurped by terrorists. They have true national interests. You might agree with them some more, you might agree with them some less. They're not being represented. They're seen as cannon fodder in the cynical hands of these people.
I asked Nico if he had any obligation to go back and serve. He told me he has already spoken to former officers of his unit, and should the call come, he would fly back to Israel to help his country. And while Nico Black closely monitors developments there in this ongoing war, others are expressing their own concerns.
As WCPO 9 News reporter Anna Azalian reports, there is a call for politicians to see beyond the current war and look at the deeper cause.
The Council on American-Islamic Relations here has a lot to say about the war between Israel and Hamas. But one message is simple: stop the violence.
We call an end to the bombing and call on an immediate ceasefire. The United States must be part of efforts for de-escalation.
While this bombing is happening half a world away, those at a news conference put on by CARE Wednesday say it's still personal.
I have many family friends. I have just friends who all of their families live in Gaza, who are just purely devastated, not being able to get any sort of communication, any sort of contact, and it's just saying that they're lost. They could be lost under the rubble. They could be one of the bodies that haven't been found yet.
As Palestinian-Americans like Layla Sheikh worry for their friends and family in Gaza, many in Cincinnati's Jewish community are worrying for their loved ones, too.
We both have family and friends there.
Ariella Kurtzer was one of about 1,000 who attended an Israeli solidarity rally Tuesday. Like many in the room, she spent the last few days checking in on loved ones in Israel.
It was really bad on Saturday night. I was checking in every hour just to make sure that they were alive and safe.
Number 2 is a resolution.
And at Cincinnati City Council Wednesday, leaders passed a resolution in support of the Israeli people.
Because we need to be clear that we unequivocally condemn targeting innocent civilians.
CARE is asking elected officials to think about both their Palestinian-American constituents and Jewish constituents when talking about and taking action related to this war.
We expect leaders to be problem solvers and to look at an issue not just at face value and ask what got us here.
In Mason, Anna Azalian, WCPO 9 News.